So we are here in beautiful Gatlinburg, Tennessee, showcasing two side-by-side tiny houses. The Lily model there in the distance, and the Azalea here next to me. And we're gonna go take a look inside. So we've got our beautiful deck railing here. It's actually wood and rebar. So this is painted rebar. And it has a really sleek look. We've used this on a few previous builds and we're really a big fan of that look. So this week, the guys will be doing a permanent set of steps. So right now those steps are temporary. The guys always just throw up any set of steps that they can just to give access to the house for them to work and also for building inspectors. So we are required to have temporary steps so the building inspectors aren't using a ladder to get in the house. They're not okay with that. And we have our beautiful 8-foot door. What a difference this size door makes in a house compared to your standard 7-foot, technically 6'8". But it makes everything just look and feel so much bigger. So we're gonna walk up here. We've got all of our tongue and groove on the outside here. Our recessed lights in the eaves, so there will be plenty of lighting. And the other thing I love about these doors, I don't know if you could see kind of this rib texture. We order these in black, and we've had way better luck ordering these doors in black than getting them in and painting them. So I'm gonna show you another view here. The lighting might be a little bit better. So this rib texture is really durable, and ordering them in black instead of painting them really seems to prevent chips altogether. So it makes a big difference. Those are the little details that we really stress, that we find to be really important when it comes to durability. We've got very smudged, but very beautiful gable windows up here. And panning around, beautiful window wall. So we don't even have electricity here yet, but it looks like I pretty much have lights on in the house. That's how bright it is here with natural lighting when you add this many windows. So the guys have done an amazing job here on the tongue and groove with a whitewash. It's a really, really, really light whitewash. Just enough to make a difference from the standard wood color and add just a very light, soft tone. So I don't know if you could tell the difference. This part is not whitewashed. The covered deck here is not whitewashed. But the ceiling is. It's hard to give you guys a side-by-side here. So we are really happy with how that whitewash came out. It's really pretty, and that's pine. The tongue and groove there, the wood type is pine, and that whitewash just looks really good. That's what our buyer wanted to have here, and we always customize to every detail our buyer wants. So here we have cabinets. We are really excited to get the kitchen cabinet set this week. And you kind of see all these outlets here, probably what looks like for no reason. So on a Azalea model, the kitchen runs down the wall here and then makes an L and wraps around. And then we have 2 tiers of floating shelves. So we always find it really important to put outlets right where the floating shelves will be. So that way, if you want to plug in appliances or lights, it's not hanging down in front of the shelf. It's actually right there tucked in, clean and neat, not bothering anybody. And those little details with cords and things like that and having places to plug stuff in makes a big difference. A lot of times you don't think about it till the house is done, but that's what we're here for. We're here to think about it during the building process and make everything make sense. So again, for anybody just showing up, there's our gorgeous window wall. And as I mentioned, we don't have a window over here because the cabinets will wrap around almost all the way to the edge here, and that'll be part of the kitchen. And there's our plumbing for what will be our dishwasher sink combo. If you haven't seen one before, check out our channel. That is what we include on the Azalea model, and it's a really innovative dishwasher and sink side by side. Super cool. And then across the way here, we've got what will be the bedroom. So perfectly spaced for a king size bed. We have our cutouts here for wall sconces, for wall lighting. and then a light switch and an outlet. So we have that on each side there. And then of course, another detail, easy to plan out ahead of time when you're thinking about it. It's not hard in the framing stage. We will have a beautiful recessed fireplace here, electric fireplace. So it'll look nice and clean. Doesn't have to stick out away from the wall. It doesn't take up much space. We just had to do a 2x6 stud to make that happen. So super easy. And then unfortunately, all the leaves have fallen, but it's still a beautiful day here in the Smoky Mountains. So we see our lily over there. We're gonna go take a tour of that one next, show you guys everything going on and what the progress is up to this point and what we're doing this week. And then back to anybody who just joined, you're seeing our deck railing here. That's actually wood and rebar. Really cool finish, really cool look that we've done on a few builds here. And then our wiring, electrician should be back soon to do our lighting. And then again, details that really matter. A lot of people like to hang string lights, but it's like you never have the outlets to plug them into. So have you guys ever run string lights at your house and it seems like there's never an outlet nearby? We've thought about that. So we've got an outlet over here, an outlet over here, and one up high. So if you're doing any string lights up in the air or around the railing, you have a place to plug them in and neatly tuck them away. So we think about those details. Then we've got some hardy board siding. Now that the doors are in and the windows are in, the guys had to run the rest of the trim here. So they just need to paint that. That's hardy board. It's a material I really like. It does come with this wood grain texture. It just shows up in this yellow color. It's kind of like a prime effect. And the guys just need to paint that now. So let's go take a look at the bathroom area. Our tile guys will be here this week. Super excited about that. So we're doing some really exciting tile work in here. You absolutely want to stay tuned for it. So our buyer went with this dark green color here in the bathroom, which I think is going to look really good with the tile. We've got that same whitewash effect in the ceiling here. Pairs really well with this green color. It's coming together beautifully. And then our full-size shower. We've got a really tall ceiling height here, so it makes for a really nice size shower. And look at that, guys. Anybody know what that is? It's a rainfall shower head. Well, it will be. Plumbing for a rain shower fixture. So we will have a fixture there and a fixture here, because who doesn't love a rainfall shower fixture plus a wall mount? So we've got the combo there, and light fixture in the shower. That's always nice too. And then of course our plumbing for the valve and for the handle. So all of this will be tiled, and you're seeing the back side of the recessed fireplace here. So tile guys need to still put up their appropriate wall here before they get started. And then what are we looking at here? We are going to try to time lapse it. When I say try, we're going to do it. We are going to time lapse it, but whether or not the cameras get moved, we can't guarantee. Sometimes these guys like to move stuff, and we don't know if the lighting is going to turn out okay. So we're going to try our best to do a full time lapse of the tile guys doing all the tile in the shower here. And then we're even gonna have some tile coming out of the shower down the wall, which is super cool. Barely anybody does that. It's gonna have an awesome effect. So then we'll have our toilet here, our vanity here, and then LED mirror. So we're super excited about everything we have going on in here. Then of course, with our Azalea model, you get the washer and dryer closet. Perfect for stackable washer and dryer. And then a utility closet. It's a pretty big closet for a 575 square foot house. So we've got our plumbing for a hot water heater here, and that will be set on a shelf, and then there will be plenty of space below it. Tons of wall space left. We even gave our buyer outlets here, so that way if they need to plug in any internet equipment, modems, routers, anything like that, they have a place to do it. So we always try to think about those details. So this Azalea model is coming along beautifully. And again, anybody just joining, these are 8-foot doors. Makes a big difference going from your standard size door to now your handprints there. The final cleaning has clearly not been done. We're still in construction phase, but those 8-foot doors just make you feel like you're in a way bigger space. This is only a 575 square foot house, and it feels so much bigger because of features like that. So let's go across the way and take a look at our Lily model. It's got some really exciting features going on also. And it's just a beautiful day in the Smoky Mountains here. And there it is, elevated on piers, our treehouse style foundation. And our stucco guys should be out soon. They're going to make the piers look like tree trunks, so it'll really give more of that tree house feel. So they're gonna take the piers here and actually stucco them with texture, making it look like tree bark, and then paint them so they'll look like tree trunks. And I always get really excited about that stage. I always get really excited to see it go from pretty much raw construction to looking like tree trunks. It's just like the icing on the cake. So this is only a 330 square foot house, guys. That's it, 330 square feet. And I'm gonna show you what the inside looks like. But first, let's look underneath. We really make sure underneath the house looks polished, because with these treehouse style foundations, you can use underneath the house for hangout space. So again, let's take a look above. We're about to go inside, and now look below. All of this is usable space. So this is probably about six to 7 feet tall here, right here, and then probably closer to 8 feet after we get past the LVLs, probably closer to 8 feet here. So this is all usable space, and the buyer can hang hanging chairs here. So the client that we're building for, that's our buyer. We customize these houses for anybody we build for, and we always lay it out in a way that makes the most sense for them. So they're planning to do hanging chairs, which means we're gonna gravel this entire space for them to make it look like a really nice hangout space. We're gonna flatten out the area back there, beyond the deck, beyond those piers, gravel all the way to the property line, and then the buyer eventually plans to do a barrel sauna back there. So we're helping set them up for success. We're helping lay all the groundwork for anything that they wanna do, even if it's later on, so it makes the most sense. But again, that's what we love about these treehouse style foundations, is you get the usable space under the house, which is really nice. So look how cute this lily model is. So these are our temporary steps. These were built just for access to the house. These are going to look significantly different, probably in about a week or so. So the steps are gonna come down and then over, and they're gonna go all the way down to where I'm parked there. And then there's gonna be a section that lets you off, like a landing, and that's where you'll exit to go underneath the house in case you wanna go from house to underneath. So it'll all tie in nicely. And then here's our wood and rebar combo for our railing. Again, I showed it earlier in the video. I just absolutely love it. And if you're wondering what this is over here, we do try to keep in mind things that make sense. So we had this roughed in for a floodlight. If not, all of this would have been so dark. Walking up to this house, I mean, you got your lights in the eave, you have some sconce lights, but then you have a covered deck. So how is anybody supposed to see when they're walking up? So that's why we added that there. This is a private right-of-way, a private road to access these houses, so there's no street lights. So again, details that really matter. So the guys still need to put in our doors. That will be likely, probably this week. We've got our beautiful gable windows letting in lots of light. And now we're ready for a little tour. So this is our kitchen area. I know it's tiny. So since this is an A-frame and we've got all these steep angles, we actually have to build out away from the wall, and this essentially becomes dead space. Let me show you another angle. We build out away from the wall, and there's a good angle. And that's where we mount our kitchen cabinets too, because you can't mount them like this on that angle. You have to build out away from the wall, and you lose some space, but that's just how A-frames work. So we'll have cabinets all the way down, and then stopping here, and then countertop, kitchen countertop comes down and wraps around and ties into the wall here, and then you have a perfect space for bar stools. So extra space for seating in a small house where you have to get creative. So panning around here. If you guys haven't seen one of our Lily models complete, check out our channel. You can see a property tour of a few different Lily models and what it looks like when it's completely done. So I'd give you an idea about this layout, this 330 square foot tiny house. Again, on our channel, check out the property tour, but every house is really different. because anybody we build for our buyers, they get to customize the house. And this buyer has already added a lot of customization. So all of this wood is actually whitewashed. It's a very, very soft tone. The way they did it here, we didn't go with the dark whitewash. The buyer wanted a light whitewash. And it's just enough to take away kind of the yellow tone in the wood. This is pine, so it's got kind of a yellow tone. It just softens it up, and you still get really good contrast between the window and door trim and the wood. So there's some very high contrast there, which is really gonna be tied in when you see, because it's all one open room. When you see the kitchen countertops that are going here, oh my God, the kitchen countertops and the cabinets, when you tie that in with this black, the guys aren't done painting, but the black trim and the whitewash here, ooh, it's gonna look so good. So our bathroom here, we have a pocket door, really nice for tiny houses, because again, kitchen over here, kitchen cabinets will come almost all the way to the door opening, not into it, but almost up to it. And then you only have this narrow channel to walk in, so you really don't want a bathroom door swinging out or in. I know it looks like a mess in there, but check that out, guys. Who knows what that is? Anybody have any ideas? If you've been on our channel, you would know what this is and why that looks like that. And it's actually a really, really smart idea. I know I'm tooting my own horn here, but so I'll explain in a second. We got our pocket door here. It'll slide in and out of this channel, so it tucks away. Really nice idea for tiny houses. Another option would have been a barn door. So we could have had a track here with a barn door. Either way works really well. Now, our special little cubby. Again, if you go to our YouTube channel, you can see this fully finished, but this is a towel cubby. So perfect way to let the geometry of an A-frame work for you instead of against you. This is all dead space. You have to build out, let me step back. You have to build out away from the wall just to get flat surfaces to mount your vanity, to build your shower, and that all is dead space that's not usable. But if you do something like this, you can make it usable. So we're able to sneak in right between the toilet and the vanity, this little cubby, and there will be shelves, about 3 shelves in here, and you can roll up towels and tuck them right away. So you're not using your wall space, you're not using your floor space, you've got a perfect little cubby space, and you can really put anything there. You could put bathroom toiletries, a hairdryer, anything. So again, another way to make the geometry of an A-frame work for you instead of against you. And then our guys are coming in to do our tile shower. Really excited about that. They will be here tomorrow. So we are getting some time-lapse cameras set up for them. We are hoping we can do a full shower tile time-lapse for you. That's what we're attempting to do. So we're setting up cameras right now for that. Lighting is our biggest concern. We don't know if the lighting is going to be good enough, but we're going to try like heck, even if we have to send it to a video editor after, just to make sure you get that visual of a full time lapse of a shower. So tile guys will be hanging the walls in here. They do have a specific wall they put up before they tile, and they're even tiling this angle here. They're really good at what they do, and it'll wrap around even to here will be tiled, and then we'll have a glass door, a glass sliding door. So it's going to look amazing. Again, if you haven't seen any of our Lily model tours, take a look and you can see what that looks like. But this one will even be different than the last because we let our buyers choose the tile. So we're super excited about that. Super excited to try to get a time lapse for you. So another view of this window wall coming along beautifully. Then this is the bedroom area. And of course, we've got boxes everywhere. These are our kitchen cabinets. Again, going in this week in our little tiny kitchen. So bedroom here, there's going to be wall sconces, light switch, and outlet on both sides of the bed. And you can fit a king size bed here. That's what's wild. 330 square foot house, but you can fit a king size bed because that was really important to us when we designed our tiny houses, is making sure king size bed could fit and that you wouldn't lose luxury just because you were in a tiny house. And then another feature, electric fireplace. So it's really easy to implement stuff like this when you're in new construction. When you're in the new construction phase, framing it for the first time. If you plan these details out, they really don't cost you that much more money. You just have to plan it out ahead of time, know that you want to implement it, and it creates a really nice finished look. And then if you haven't been to our YouTube channel to see our plumbing video, take a look at our plumbing video. We talk about the plumbing of these tiny houses and what we did here with the hot water heater. So that is a build out for the hot water heater above the bathroom. We've got a full video talking about how our plumber Audrey plumbed that, how she ran all the plumbing lines for the kitchen, how things were more difficult for her to plumb this tiny house just because of the geometry. So again, full video on YouTube. Take a look if you're wondering how you plumb a tiny house that has no crawl space and is weird geometry because it's an A-frame and it's a tiny house. So out here on the deck, we've got our lovely covered deck here with all tongue and groove. And our lighting, electrician should be out soon. And then our railing. So again, if you're new to our channel, you might be wondering, you may not have seen this video, and wondering, why does the railing look like that? Why does the deck railing look taller? So, reason being is because this is a code thing. With where the hot tub is going to sit, it's within so many feet of the railing, and we're so many feet off the ground. So we are required to build what is called a fall guard. That is a hot tub fall guard. So if somebody were to be in the hot tub, they stand up, they won't fall over the edge. They've got something preventing them from falling over the edge. And you have to run that up to 3 feet out beyond the edge of the hot tub. So wherever the hot tub stops, if it stops here, you carry that fall guard up to 3 feet out. And then we can have a normal height, which is 36 inches. So again, we have some videos explaining that a little bit further, but a lot of people who are new here would say, why is that railing so tall? So that's why. We've got our really cool rebar look here. So wood framing and black rebar, just a really polished look there. And then let's show you this window wall. So in a house that's only 330 square feet, natural lighting is everything. And you can see how bright that looks for 330 square feet. We don't even have electricity here yet. And you can see how bright it looks in there. And that's literally because of the windows. Letting in all that natural light is huge for a house this size, for not making it feel closed in. And as usual, we've got our awesome black doors here. I know that doesn't seem like a big deal, but we order these in black. They're manufactured in black, and they have way less issues with chipping than if you order the door and paint it in black. So this is a really important detail to us. So we know that it's more durable than if we were to paint the door. And we love the full view look, meaning the whole center is glass. Again, letting all the light in. The guys just set this door, so they just finished trimming it with hardy board. So that still needs painted. That's why you see that light yellow colored board there. And giving you another look around, back inside. And again, if you just got here, you may not have heard that we whitewashed all of this wood. So it gave it really just a soft touch, kind of took the yellow tone out of the wood. That's what our buyer wanted. I think it was a fantastic decision. And I think our guys did a really good job applying that effect. So let's go under the house again. Let's go beside and underneath. There's another angle I haven't showed you. Ignore these temporary steps. If you're new here, I said it earlier in the video, these steps aren't permanent. They are just to give access for workers and for building inspectors. Our steps are actually going to run out that direction, and the guys are going to be working on those either this coming week or the following. Of course, Thanksgiving is coming up, so we've got a holiday week. So things are going to slow down just a little bit. We've got our awesome piers here. Our Treehouse foundation. So I'm just getting to the end here so I can turn around. Our mountain view in the distance. For anybody who's been to Gatlinburg, that's Anakeesta right there. We are almost right in downtown Gatlinburg. And then look how beautiful this looks. Our 330 square foot Lily model. Looks awesome. And I mentioned earlier stucco work on these piers. So every single pier here is going to be stuccoed with texture. So they're going to stucco these with texture to make it look like tree bark. And then they're going to paint them so it really looks like tree trunks. And again, showing how we finish out underneath the house. Just because it's underneath the house doesn't mean that it shouldn't look good. So this will be a hangout space underneath here. And the guys run the same siding that they use on the house underneath here, and they paint it with the same color as the siding. And then you see our wires there for our mini split unit. That will be mounted in about the next couple weeks. So we will have a mini split. That's how we do heating and cooling on all of our tiny houses. Very efficient. We actually go a step further and get Wi-Fi enabled units. So that way it can be controlled with an app. So really awesome feature that the mini splits have those now. So we love those added bonuses. And again, I'm just walking around with plenty of headroom underneath here. So this will be a hangout space. And what we love with these piers is you can hang swings or hanging chairs in between them when you have this type of height underneath the house. So tons of potential. This is all going to be gravelled. It's going to be leveled back there, and then all of this gravelled all the way to the property line. And there will be a part of the stairwell here that brings you off underneath the house. So stairwell will come down this direction. It'll stop about here. There will be a landing to come underneath the house, and then it will continue down to the parking area. So those are our two side-by-side tiny house updates. Our Azalea model in the distance there, really coming along, and our Lily model here. Again, also really coming along. Everything's look great. Tile guys will be here this week. We are looking to do time lapses of their work, and we'd also like your feedback. If there's something you want to see a time lapse of, let us know. If you'd like a time lapse of anything specific on the build. Maybe you want to see the guys stucco these piers, these house piers. Maybe that's something you'd like to see. Maybe you want to see more time lapses of plumbing or electrical. But let us know. Like I said, we're going to try to get a time lapse of the tile. So that's going to be our next time lapse video, shower tile, setting cabinets in the kitchen, and setting countertops. So if our guys don't, if the workers don't move the cameras too many times, then those will be our next tiny house time lapses. Again, if you're new here, you haven't been to our channel, we do time lapses of our tiny house construction, behind the scenes construction videos of our tiny houses explaining different stages of construction and what it's like to build here in the Smoky Mountains with challenging landscapes. I mean, look at these hillsides we had to cut into. It's steep. It's really, really steep. And then also time lapses. And we want to hear from you. If there's something you want to see, let us know. So I hope you guys enjoyed these tiny house updates, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.